Hey guys, did you miss me? That's right, I'm just back from the show of shows in Louisville, Kentucky, and I've got some treasures to show you. Okay, we had a great party at the show. I think there was about 150 in attendance, and we did broadcast that live. That was the first time we ever did it, so I wouldn't say it's the best quality, but many of you commented you liked seeing it anyway, especially the raffle. Also, I bought a bunch of guns, and I showed a short on that, but we took over an hour of footage just walking the show and some of the things that were there, and so we have to edit all that down. Randy's working on that right now. But it's going to be a while before he gets that done, and I know you're anxious to see what the show was like. What's it like to be there? So instead, what I decided to do, that one will come out soon, but I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the things I brought home because that's a lot easier to do. I'm just going to hit it and quit it. I'm going to show you a gun and move on to the next one. So be prepared to see some really nice guns that I picked up at the show of shows. The first two full rigs I want to show you, one is a Mauser C96 broom handle, red 9, full rig. I'm going to show you that up close and personal. And secondly, a full artillery rig with all the giblets. So come look over my shoulder, check these out. Okay, now don't get ahead of me. I'm going to go over all these really cool guns, but as promised, I wanted to start with this Mauser red 9 rig. So the Mauser broom handle came in a strange caliber, and often it would get mixed up with the Luger ammo because 9mm and I think it's 7.63. So 7.63 in the broom handle versus 9mm. The ammo would get mixed up. So then the German army said, you know what, let's do it in 9mm, put a red 9 on it so that we don't get it confused. This is a beautiful red 9. You see the proof here. There's also a Prussian eagle here. So it was issued to the Prussian army, and also an imperial proof here. So the red 9, fire blue on top. There's some fire blue right here. Overall, just a beautiful gun. Okay, this is the holster and stock that it came in. It's rare to find these all together. This is a spare spring which goes in the bottom here. You just push that button, open it up like a magazine. But that's for loading the ammo from the top. Spare spring. You see a cleaning rod here. They came with this cleaning rod. Some people say a screwdriver, but you can tell from this that that is a cleaning rod, and there is actually a screwdriver on the end. Well, it's not great, but maybe could be used as a screwdriver. There's the tool on the side. Also, the holster itself is marked in several places. We have the maker mark here, and then also here. And there's another maker mark, and someplace it's marked 1915. I did see that, but now I don't. So I'm not going to waste any time because I got a lot to go through. But it seems to me it was dated 1915, and now I don't see it. So that's a pretty nice harness. These typically fell apart pretty easily, and they also make repros. I believe this one is original. The stock, the wood stock, is designed for the gun to fit down inside it. There is no imperial proof here. If it had an imperial proof, it might have been here and it's now gone. But I don't see an imperial proof here. And the whole, I'm not going to put it down inside, but it fits perfectly down inside there. And then, of course, they would wear it over their shoulder. Here's a quick look at a soldier carrying a C96. This is the, it's called the iron, but the 509 matches the gun. You can see the last 3 digits of the serial number are 509. You can particularly see it right there on the back of the hammer. So C96, red 9, full assembly. These used to be seen more often at gun shows, but now it's really hard to find them all together like this. Okay, now we have the artillery rig. It's very hard to find them with the original straps because these obviously break. And these are original. There are people who make reproduction. There's actually complete reproduction kits coming out of Pakistan, but it would be the holster, the wood stock, and then the straps. They make these all repro. These are real. And by the way, this stock and again, it would fit on the back. This stock does have the imperial proof right here, and that's what I was looking for on the stock on the C96. That's the imperial proof. This is called the boot. This side is numbered, and you see 3203 and then the letter F underneath. So we undo this. This all pops open. By the way, there is a tool here, and it is imperial proof. See that little white mark there? That's an imperial proof. Again, it's like a squiggly line. They're usually S or D. Right here, it's a crown with a letter, and that's the imperial proof. There's one there on the tool. Those sell, just that tool sells for about $200. And then you can see, here's the gun itself. And technically, all you have to do is slide that on, and you can hold it on your shoulder like that. You're all set. So again, just like the broom handle, it comes together as a full assembly. Let's talk about the gun a little bit. It's got an 8-inch barrel instead of the 4 that you'd see on a standard Luger, a 6 that you would see on a Navy, and then an 8-inch on the artillery. It has an adjustable rear sight, and it goes up and down to account for elevation distance. And then also they make these adjustable. This one is not. It's 1917 DWM. All the numbers on all the parts, all the numbers are matching. And the stock iron also matches. Remember we said 3203. There it is, 3203, 3203. So all matching. Look at the front straps. Now the magazine is actually blank. There's it looks like it got chipped here a little bit, but there's no number on that. So technically this is all matching. However, this is a replacement magazine. Otherwise, all matching, complete rig, almost never seen. Okay, speaking of Lugers, and there's the original strap. This is a very unusual Luger, very unusual holster. It almost looks pigskin, but I don't believe, it might be pigskin. It looks like pigskin because of the dimpling, and notice this has a magazine pouch that looks like that. So this is very, very rare. But because of this tag, I know that I did not pick this up at Louisville. This tag means it was imported from Canada. So this is a Canadian rescue. It came in while I was at the show. So I'm going to go ahead and include it because I don't want to discriminate. But the first thing is the holster. It's a spare magazine there. I've never seen this holster before in my life. But what it has, oh, we forgot the boot. Let's go put that back. Make sure we keep them together. That's the Canadian rescue tag. You'll notice a little indentation right here. And that's because this has been together for a long time. So when you look at that, it's got the green verdigris, and the button hits right there. And you see that little indentation. So we know this has been together a long time. I'm going to call this a 99% gun. Now it is DWM. It is a 1906 because it has the grip safety. It has no markings other than commercial markings on it. It's all matching. And again, 99%. So it's a commercial gun, no American Eagle. So it's a made for Germany, commercial, 1906, no Germany marks, beautiful gun, 99% condition with a blank magazine. In this case, the magazine should be blank because it's not military, so they did not number the commercial magazines. And again, you don't see any numbers or markings other than DWM and a serial number, all matching 30 caliber commercial 1906. Very rare and even rarer holster. Next, another Canadian rescue, same story, came in while I was gone. This is a BYF 42 Black Widow. You see the black grips, black bottom magazine. The reason I get a lot of Black Widows, so it's not super rare, but what's really cool about this one is, do you notice the plum hue? Now, it reminds me of George Costanza, who was checking out a girl and said, does she have a pinkish hue?
Is there a pinkish hue?
There's a hue. This has a reddish hue. And there's two collectors out there who always ask me, if you ever get a gun in with this reddish hue, basically all it is when they applied the bluing, the way they prep the metal. This is my understanding. I'm not a metallurgist, and so somebody will certainly correct me. But my understanding is the metal prep had to do with this turning a pinkish hue. It's not a pinkish hue. It's a reddish hue. That's what causes this. And you see it a lot in the late war period of time. On P-38, you see it in 43 and 44. On this gun, it's much more rare to see it on a BYF-42, but there's definitely a pinkish hue, and it is a Black Widow. Okay, I got at least a dozen other Lugers I could show you, but I just don't have enough time. And some of you actually have work to do around the house. I know your wife wants you to get the dishes done and not sit around and watch these videos. I have guys at the show tell me all the time, my wife hears your voice all the time. And it turns out that I annoy people, but my wife would agree. This is a Krieghoff. It has, well, let's first look at the Krieghoff logo. That looks like an anchor, and so some people, it actually is an anchor. That's an anchor, and it is the logo for Heinrich Krieghoff. That's the guy's name. Often I'll say an HK, and people say, what's an HK? So HK, logo for the Krieghoff. It did not go to the German Navy. In fact, it went to the Luftwaffe. So all of these went to the Luftwaffe. S code is 1936. And it went to the military, Luftwaffe. They did make a few commercial, because here you see the Luftwaffe proofs. You'll take my word for it, or you can buy my book on Third Reich Lugers, and I go into detail about the Krieghoff proofs. And there was a couple thousand of these made in 1936. This has the fine Ritz grip. You know the original finish, one thing that stands out is this is a high polish here, and then there's a matte finish in the ear. That's the ear of the Krieghoff. This is matte, that's matte, and then the rim around the ear is high polish. Same thing over here. You can see matte finish inside, high polish on the outside. There's the serial number 3002. It's also written here, and it has a matching magazine, 3002, and there's another Luftwaffe proof right there. So it is a 1936 Krieghoff, went to the Luftwaffe, all correct, all matching, with a matching magazine. This is a great find, and these are very desirable, and what goes with that is fairly expensive. You will notice one other feature. The straw small parts, that's not that unusual in 1936, but the Krieghoff often, not always, will then have a fire blue. That is the push button magazine release. The opposite side is a fire blue, and this is the straw color. So it's just a beautiful gun made in with great precision, and one of the most desirable of the collector Lugers. Okay, check this out. This is something I've never seen before. Now, I've sold probably 500 Berettas. This is an Italian Beretta. I've sold them with the green holster, but in this case, it's way too big for me, so I'm holding it here. But you can see how this fits. Now, I walked around the show with a fanny pack, and that kind of looked like that. The fanny pack was because I always have to have a screwdriver, a magnifying glass, a light, all that stuff, and money. So I do the fanny pack. But you can see this is the full belt, and in the back, we'll take a look at my buttocks back here. You can see the ammo pouch. Does my butt look big in these pants? Come on, guys, get serious. This is the ammo pouch. This is something I've never seen before. Come take a look up close. Okay, here's the belt itself. This is the part I've never seen before. You can see that it's built to hang a little bit lower than the waist. And then also, the reason I didn't adjust it is this is really tight here. So I just left it alone, and there's the ammo pouch. If you've never seen one before, I've never seen one before. That's what it looks inside. If you're Italian or you collect Italian war memorabilia, this is a remarkable find. There was some kind of a logo here, a stamp, and I've seen that before. Usually I see an oval 4UT, and I don't think that's what that is. But the gun itself, that's what you've been waiting for. And this is just incredible. This is a high polish finish, Beretta, model 1934, which means it came in 9mm. Let's double check that. Short, 9mm short. And you can see it was made in 41. So 41 was toward the end of the high polish finish. Then it started to get to a duller finish. Just look how incredibly beautiful this gun is. The RE is the Italian Army, basically. That's the insignia for the Italian Army. And then there's an additional proof here. In an oval, it's a marking IVU, another proof here, but I just wanted you to see how beautiful this is. Look at the front strap and the back strap, and again, never seen it before with the giddy up. Okay, now I have the smaller caliber weapons. These are all Walther's PPs and PPKs. I'm going to actually buzz right through these. I just wanted to see how beautiful this one is. This is a Police Eagle C. It's fairly late war. It has the black grips, which would be correct, and it has the magazine with the Walther banner and the caliber here, 7.65. Look at the front strap and the back. Well, back strap is, of course, it's a one-piece grip. Sorry about that. Eagle N proof, that's late war. This is 1944. So it's a Police PPK. The reason I'm showing to you is the condition. It's probably 99%. Just beautiful. This one, in contrast, is a Verkromp finish, and it's early. You can see the serial number. This is from about, actually 1938, I believe. Crown N instead of Eagle N. And you see this Verkromp finish. Now notice this almost looks like two different colors. For one, there's a lot of dirt here. This could be cleaned up. There's dirt in here. This black wax pencil is actually original from the factory, so don't remove it. They did put the black wax pencil in there, and this says made in Germany. And the reason there's two different colors is this is actually aluminum frame. So if you put a magnet on it, it doesn't stick. Well, you have to take the magazine out first. Isn't that beautiful? Take the magazine out, put a magnet on it, it'll slide right off. Aluminum frame, Doral, Verkromp, very, very rare. Probably less than 50 made ever. I've only seen 2 or 3. The rear sight is always blued on these, unknown reason. But I just wanted to show it to you. Oh, it has the special grips because normally a PP would have black grips. In this case, it has a brown mottled look, very similar to the PPK grip. So it's a unique gun, really hard to find, and will probably move very quickly. This one is a rare find, picked it up at a table. I came back 2 or 3 times trying to get it cheaper, and then I thought, what the heck, I just need to buy it. It is Waffen-proofed, which means it went to the military, but it's early enough that it's a high polish finish, Waffen-proofed gun. It has a correct early magazine, which is banner only. It has the correct grip, the brown mottled look. There's a small crack right there, but not too bad. That's pretty normal. There's a stress fracture there from the contraction in the cold, and then it swells in the heat. So it's common to have a tiny crack right there. You see the serial range, which I believe makes it, this is about 1940 or 41. So Eagle N. These early ones went to the Luftwaffe. Yeah, this is in the Luftwaffe range, but it does not have the matching magazine, so I can't say for sure. I can look it up in my database, but I believe this is Luftwaffe range, high polish finish, Waffen-proofed, which is WAA Waffen in Germany, 359. Those are the proof here and here. So that was a good find. Here's one I bet you've never seen before. This is a Persian contract. Now this is from about 1938. It is crown and proofed, but the proofs are inside. So you got to take the slide off and look inside. There's some interesting features here. It comes in 9mm. The Persian contract, they ordered several hundred. A contract of hundreds of guns went to Persia, modern-day Iran. That is the crest, and that is the Farsi writing. This is the serial number in Farsi. The only Farsi number I know is this right here, is actually 9mm. So this says it's a 9mm. And what's really cool about it is the 9mm, by the way, has no push button, but rather a bottom release. And it says 9mm. But if you look at the spine, that's a Farsi 9. And so this magazine is part of the Farsi contract, the Persian contract. It says 9mm on the back of the spine. And people who own one of these, I would bet you do not have the Farsi marked magazine. Well, I've only seen a few. So this is really a special gun. Again, Persian contract in 9mm. You can see the front strap. You can see the reverse side. This is where the Walther banner is, which of course the banner is usually over here. You can see the Walther banner is usually here, but on this gun, it's on the reverse side, model PP. And there's the factory serial number versus the Farsi separate number. I don't speak Farsi, so if somebody wants to correct me, feel free. You don't see a crown end proof, but if I take the slide off, you look inside, you'll see 9mm, and you will see the crown end proof. Let's keep moving. This one's going to get a lot of attention because it is a SS contract gun. A very small contract in this serial range. If you go to my book, I do list this serial range. And instead of being on the spine, normally the serial number on the SS gun is written on the spine, and I'll be able to show you that. In this case, the serial number is on the bottom. And you can see this is the number 2 magazine. So we've got serial number, matches the gun, serial number here, and it has the reddish grip, which only existed for a very small period of time in about 1943, 44. So this is a late war contract SS gun. And again, you can find the documentation on my book. There's a picture of that. It's the Walther PP and PPK SS contracts. Here's the next one, a gorgeous gun. I only have one in my collection, so this would be number 2, and I'm willing to sell it. This is crown end, so it's pre-40. And this serial number, I think, is about 1938, 39, late 38, early 39. Has the correct grip, correct magazine with finger extension. Actually, yeah, that actually has the caliber on it, which is, it could be original to the gun. It might be a little bit later because they started that in about 1939 as opposed to the banner only. But what makes this one rare is, let's get focused on this, it's RFV and then a property number. So this is the gun number, RFV, which is Reichs Finance Bureau. Reichs Finance Bureau is basically the IRS. So this was the Reichs Finance, which means these are the tax collectors and enforcers. So if you didn't pay your taxes, a plainclothes policeman would show up. Most of the RFV guns are PPs. We sell a lot more of those, but it's probably 10 to 1. I probably see 10 RFV PPs for every RFV PPK. So this one is highly desirable and won't last long on the site. But again, I'm only doing this for your edification. This is another Walther PP, and it is another SS gun. You can see it's an early gun, and it has the serial number on the slide and the frame. Early, how early is this? I think this is about 1935. So it's I think it's the earliest PP contract, but it has been refinished. Now, you can see that the edges are kind of a little bit polished. You can see this metal is polished. You can see the finish is almost too bright, too high polish. Also, what you want to see is when the slide comes back like this, I'll push it back, hold on. Slide comes back, it usually is going to make a rub mark right there. This is a excellent condition gun, but you can see where that line comes where the slide goes back. And it's usually more prominent on one side than the other. Here you have a smaller line, and then there you have a more pronounced line, but that's from the slide going back. So if it's been redone, it's not 100%. I mean, you can't say with 100% certainty, but this is a clue. There's no line there, so this has been refinished. I can tell just because of the high polish, but it is an SS gun. And then just for kicks and giggles, if we go to the spine, there it is. There is the matching mag, 892693. And there's a 2 above it, which means the number 2 mag. I think this may have been refinished as well. I mean, it looks a little polished. It's hard to say with certainty, but the numbers written in the factory are under the blue, and that's the way they should be. This might be original finish, but this has definitely been refinished. Again, early SS contract gun. Let's see what's next. Okay, one more SS gun. Now this is original finish, but it's pretty worn. You can see worn here, worn here. Almost all the bluing is off. And And again, it's the serial range. They are published in my book. The serial number is on the slide, on the frame. To verify that, you really need a resource, so you look it up and you'll find this serial range is an SS contract gun. This is about 1940, so it originally had a nice high polished finish. This is correct, and the magazine is heavily worn but not numbered on the spine, and it should be. So it does not have a matching mag. That hurts the price a bit, but it is an SS contract PP. Next, an RZM. We got this from the show, walked up to the table. Always happy to see. Beautiful RZM, which means it was purchased for the Nazi Party by the purchasing department of the Third Reich. So this is 1943. Beautiful front strap. Remember I talked about that? There's always a tiny crack in the back. Tiny crack in the back. No crack in the back. People say, can you get me a grip with no crack in the back? It's almost impossible. There's no such thing as a perfect grip because they do warp. Even when they're not cracked, they'll tend to warp out at the top because of the heating and cooling. But you can see here it warps out, warps out. So here you can see it. I don't know if you can get that. But it maybe splayed out. Is that the word? If you're in a foreign country, you're saying, what the heck is he saying? But it curves out at the top and the bottom. That's a sign it's an original grip. The repros are perfect. So people say, can you get me a perfect grip? Yeah, but it'll be repro. But let's go back to this RZM. There's the serial range. It's actually very early. That's one of the earliest. The first ones they made were the 802 serial range. So this is a very early one with an correct early magazine, which is banner only, high polished finish, a great find. There's also a crack right here where somebody tightened the screw too tight and it causes stress fracture. Let's take a look at what's next. So it is raining SS PPs. I got all of these SS PPs from the same table, by the way. The guy was holding them for me. He read my book and liked it and said, hey, I've got 4 or 5 for you. This is also refinished. You can tell the finish is not quite right. This is kind of filled in. There's no mark where the slide goes back. It is Eagle N, therefore probably about 1940. You'll notice once again, the slide is numbered. The frame is numbered. I'm going to pull the magazine out. We'll see if it's matching. It should be numbered on the spine. And there it is. It's close, but it's not matching. This one is 162050. Over here, 162624. So close, number 2 mag. Close, but not matching. This is original finish and the way it should look. This is refinished and not nearly as beautiful as the original. Plus, you'll see the fading here. Okay, what's next? All right, believe it or not, last of the SS guns. This is an earlier high polish finish. Beautiful front strap. And you see slide numbered. Also, you can see the style of the slide. You can see the halos around it. This is an early SS contract, matching frame. And I know it has a numbered magazine, but as I remember, it's not an SS magazine. It's close. It's 940969, number 2 mag. But the style is not the same. You have to study these things for 20 years to get this, so you'll take my word for it. The font on the other one is not the same as the font on this one. This style, and my database indicates that this went to a railroad guard. So this went to a railroad gun, railroad police. They would ride the rails to make sure you weren't trying to get to Switzerland or you weren't Jewish, trying to leave the country, or wanted by the police for any reason. So this went to a railway police gun. And this one is an SS contract. In the book, I do have a section on the railroad police guns, so you can look up both. But it is a numbered mag put together with this SS contract gun. Okay, guys, thanks for hanging in there with me. This is the last one. So if you're falling asleep or I put your wife to sleep, I can't tell you how many spouses came and say, oh my gosh, you drone on and on. I love it. This is just a beautiful 99% Eagle F. So we saw an Eagle C earlier. It was a late war gun. This is also a late war gun, 1944. Look at the finish. It's not high polish, but it's a duller military finish. You see the Walther banner, the logo. Eagle F is a police inspector proof. F, by the way, was the initial, the name of the inspector. It's his initial of his last name. I think I said that right. Interestingly, if you collect 1911 Colts, they will have the inspector proofs on it, and it'll have all three letters. So it would be GHD, and this one is F, which is the name of the inspector. So Eagle F. Look at that front strap. It's just beautiful. A little bit shiny, but it's a dull finish. And then you can see it's a late war gun. Serial numbers match. Late war gun. On these, the magazines were not numbered, so you should just have a wartime magazine, and that's what it has. So this is all correct. Eagle F from 1944. It looks about the way it looked the day it left the factory. Probably issued and never used. Hey, thanks for watching. Went through as many guns as I could. Coming up next, hopefully Randy will finish up the video of the show itself. Check that out so you can see what you missed and if you want to come next year. Also, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel because we're trying to hit 200,000. We just hit 100,000. Now we went 200,000, and you can help us get there. Thanks.